even now, because I'm in rehearsals and I'm listening to older songs and whatever, I'm like, I can see, for example, where, oh, this line could have been tweaked or this could have been better on old songs.
Wow.
Based on what I know now. Because I think before, I think I was just following instincts and doing the best with whatever instincts I had at that moment. But now I feel like I have guidelines for what I think is cool.
Yeah.
Can I tell you some of them?
Please.
And I was just thinking out loud. I was like, I feel like I became a big fan of just like show, don't tell. Show, don't tell.
How do you think that comes up in the album?
Like instead of being like he's so obsessed with me, it's like fold for me like origami.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's a way better line.
That is a way better line. But yeah. I hope that doesn't sound obnoxious, because what I'm saying is before I probably would have said things like tried to be like, I follow this Instagram account called The Paris Review. And,
oh, yeah.
And I think Greta Gerwig said something like, the only way to make something universal is like to make it as specific as possible.
Yes.
And it's, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And it's like, Taylor has been saying that for such a long time. And rappers have been doing that for such a long time, where it's like, you know, and Gincho is like a huge hip hop head. So he would always tell me, you know, I would come in with my perspective of like probably more pop songwriting, which is like, beginning of the story, middle of the story, end of the story. And he'd be like, you know, in rap songs, it's like, you're in this scene, and now you're in the car, and now you're in the bar, and now you're here, and now, you know, there's a glass, and now there's shoes, and the shoes are beige, and now there's, like, it's like all sensory and colors and painting all of these different pictures where it's like a movie that you can see in your head, and like these flash cuts. And I learned so much from that, and I learned so much from rappers and hip hop, and the way that I saw Jay-Z said something that SZA reposted yesterday, which is like, you know, when people are like, I don't know, like Paul McCartney is one of the greatest writers of all time. I think Biggie Smalls is too.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like
and I think Paul would probably agree with that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I don't even think he said Paul McCartney. I think he said somebody else, but I can't remember. But it's like, yeah, just like it's like poetry, and because poetry is so sensory and visual. And I don't think I was conscious of that before. I think like coincidentally, my favorite songs that I've ever done before, like First Man, from a writing perspective, I'm like, oh, I'm so proud of that song.
Lola's great too.
Thank you. Yeah. Or Used to This that I did with Phineas. Yeah. There's like, they're very specific, and like the calluses on your fingers. Like every time I was like, this is one of my favorite songs, I did that.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a great line too. There's calluses on your finger, and then, I forget how long ago, but now I feel them on my face.
And and I admired them from a distance. Now they're on my cheeks. And I think Phineas and Billy do that a lot too. But I think this album, I was really like, this is what I like.
Statement.
This is
We're
my
doing
shit.
This.
This is my shit. Sally Rooney does it. Joan Didion does it. And I just, I was like, this is the Show Don't Tell album. I don't want to do these universal statements. I want it to be as sensory as possible, which is why I think Chanel No. 5 is my favorite song that I've written, because I feel like it is written from that kind of like rap perspective, where it's just like, omakase, shibari, whoop.
There we go. Ad-libs.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
It's like all these different pictures.